I believe it was 2013 or 14. It was one of the two. Yes, as you can tell from all of our cover art, we desperately want colored lips as well. The hair is really cute. That reminds me kind of the study hair that we have in the shop. Here's some from Dark and Light boxes that year. I believe there is a taffy candy that matches her hair color. Definitely pops with all of the white clothes. The shading is really nice. If only there were lollipops that matched that color. Here's some really early concept art from the Buzz Cafe. I believe I showed it during the test stream, but most of you probably haven't seen it yet. Long, long ago. Why do flow farming games get patched? Because they're bugged games that shouldn't let everyone harvest flow endlessly without actually playing the game, so we tend to try to find them and fix them. Why can't you sit in the stools in the front? Well, these aren't actually stools anymore, they're little tables. They're meant to just be standing tables for everyone to stand around with their coffee and such. If you notice, though, at the very corner of the table, the whole round of it actually, these are the soda cans in that art that I just showed you guys. They're quite small and a little out of focus, so it's really hard to tell. That's why seeing the actual art for comparison is pretty nice. Very expired. And the coffee machine in the back is the espresso machine from the drawing. Not nearly as detailed, but it's still back there. Seeing the original sketches kind of puts it more to scale. Little coffee cups would be cute. Some old Fright box art. We don't have any plans to bring back the original music into the Buzz. We don't have the license for it anymore. The CDs are the extent of the old music. Some of it is still floating around on the jukebox and in the Buzz Cafe, but we won't be bringing it back to the live islands and such. The music was really well liked, but unfortunately once our license expires with it, we usually move on to something else. I don't know. We haven't made CDs in a really long time, and I don't think that we planned on making any more in the future. But if it doesn't exist, then there is a possibility. This dress is from an old Frost box, so you can buy it in the marketplace still. It's a dress, crown, and the wings. I believe so. Here is the very original layout for the boardwalk. I honestly don't know if the Infodome ever was actually made into anything. I vaguely recall at some point it might have just been where you would go when you were starting out and where you'd actually begin the game instead of starting right in the middle of the boardwalk with Zoe, but I don't entirely remember. To do the quest with Edwin and Colette, you just need to go to Edwin's condo and talk to him, and then he'll send you out on it. This is a really cool background from Downworld. Something our artist threw together a long time ago for the game. It is really cool. I have it as one of my rotating backgrounds at work. We all missed Downworld, it was fun. Maybe someday. Here's another Downworld background. We don't have any plans to bring it back. If we ever did, it wouldn't be anytime soon, but we all had a lot of fun with it, and I know I'm still rooting for it. The chances aren't high, but I won't say it's impossible. That is something that's been pitched. Personally, I think it'd be cool to have a Downworld island where you could do all the things you could do in Downworld, at least to some extent, but the chances of that being added in anytime soon, they're not very high. Yes, it is very scary. This is a picture of Downworld. It looks a little more pleasant if you view it from the skyscope. You can see this chunk that's missing was the boardwalk and the pier. This chunk way over here in the mountains was Sugar Star Wonderland. If you go and view this from the skyscope, little blurbs will pop up over certain spots and give you a tiny bit of information. You can also kind of tell when you go to the beach in actual Outworld and it's nice and clean, but then you go down the waterfall to the toxic beach, it's most likely because it takes you down to Downworld. It makes more sense once you've seen the spooky green picture. So yes, technically there is a tiny chunk of Downworld within our world. There is a toxic beach. I'll show you how to get there. Come on. There we go. Go down the waterfall.